The Packers have played their 4 quarters. Now it's time for the 5th quarter.
It seems like forever since the Green Bay Packers played. It seems even longer than that since they scored a point. All I wanted for Christmas was a point. And they get shut out by the Minnesota Vikings in their home finale, 16-0 in one of the most dreadful evenings I've witnessed in a long time at the historic venue up the street. A chilly night, 10 degrees at kickoff. Packers did nothing to get anyone excited about that one. And the most ignominious thing that happened, well, it's happened a lot over the years on the road. I've been traveling with the Packers for decades, as you know, and there were lots of games where the only fans in the stands at the gun were cheeseheads on the road, going crazy with another Packer victory, sending the home fans home. But I've never seen so much purple, and I've never seen the Skol cheer like we saw at the end of that game. Well, what goes around comes around sometimes, and the Vikings are living it up as division champs. They get to 12-3. Packers slide to 7-8. We got one more to go. We got lots to talk about with that game and with the Lions game to come. A lot of injuries to talk about again with this Packer team, and we'll figure out how they're going to finish the season and what are they going to do come the offseason. And we'll do that not with Josh Hawkins scheduled to appear. Last I saw Josh, he was running through the tunnel chasing Stephon Diggs after the 4-yard touchdown catch.
Right.
And I didn't think he came back after that.
Hasn't found him yet?
No, I haven't found him yet. No, I did see him after the game. And then he said I can't make it. The guys are off until tomorrow, actually. So apologize for no Josh Hawkins, but we've got a great guest who knows as much about this team as anyone on the beat. Longtime editor of the Packer Report, Bill Huber, will be joining us tonight, and we'll get to the nuts and bolts of this Packer squad with William. Matt Z, you're back from vacation.
I am back.
Hello there.
Merry day after Christmas. Actually, I spent your entire intro looking up the definition of ignominious.
Yes.
That was impressive. So I assume everyone else is like me and had no idea what that word meant.
It comes out every once in a while.
So I quickly looked it up. Deserving or causing public disgrace or shame. You nailed it.
Yes.
Ignominious. That is your lesson from the 5th quarter for tonight.
Man, that was bad.
It was not a good game.
All right. Rodgers went on IR. Ooh. You know how close he became to Cleveland Browns? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
We'll talk
What
about
a
that.
bunch of-
Yeah, that was a bunch of junk.
So stupid.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Adams out. Okay, Jerry Evans out.
Right.
Randall out.
Spriggs goes down.
Matthews out. Perry out.
Yeah.
Spriggs goes down first snap. Nelson goes down. Rodgers goes down. Aaron Jones goes
Jones
down.
goes down, yeah.
Josh Jones goes down. Holy mackerel. It was the Minnesota Vikings against the Green Bay Packers practice squad in that game. Or scout team, if you will. Hundley ran scout team for 3 years.
Right.
Right? Still running it.
Did they score on the scout team?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But we had Reggie Gilbert making plays. We had Michael Clark making plays. These guys were practice squatters a week ago. That's how dire it's become as they literally limp to the finish line.
And the defense for the Packers inspired football, limiting the Vikings 16 points, keeping you essentially within striking distance.
I don't think the Vikings are that hard to defend. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a cause of concern as they head into the playoffs. Now, they're top seed, all these different things, but that offense, I don't think, scares anyone on the NFC side of things.
I don't think so. But
the defense, absolutely, but not offensively.
Yeah, well, Packers actually outgained them by about 5 yards in that contest on
Just
Thursday,
couldn't score
on
points.
Saturday night.
Turnovers.
Yeah, it was dreadful. Yeah, the turnovers were bad. They got close into the red zone, and then the interception late in the first half on a throw that was about 25 minutes late over the middle. He had Kendricks open 2 steps off the line of scrimmage, but waited, and found Harrison Smith instead.
Found him twice.
Yeah, well, he found him late when it was, it was over by then, obviously. And they were 0 for 4 on 4th downs. They just couldn't convert on 4th downs. It was just a brutal contest. And it leaves a lot of questions about, the depth of this team, perhaps. Certainly the depth at quarterback. For now, we've seen a very good body of work with Mr. Hundley. And I'm not convinced that he could do this.
No?
Over the course of 16 for an NFL team. I really don't.
I don't see it either. And you watched him in the preseason. I think everyone was optimistic about what he could do. We know preseason's obviously clearly different than a regular season. Speed, talent, all these things. But you've been banking on this guy now for how many years, and it doesn't look like he's the guy, so how do you address that in the offseason?
That's what's perplexing. They loved his athleticism, and I understand that. Made some very nice plays with his feet again. He's a very good athlete.
Can you turn the offense? Now, obviously Aaron Rodgers is coming back, but when a Hundley's in there, he almost needs to run kind of the Kaepernick style of an offense.
It's like that
Use
shrink
your
wrap
legs.
you put on meat, to keep it fresh. Everything comes back to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
It's the quick hitch to the outside. It's the little curl route for 5 yards. I bet his completion percentage, 7 yards and longer, is probably 20% this year. Unless it's a screen that breaks loose for a 30-yard touchdown like it did in Pittsburgh.
Or a busted play down the field where there was no
everything.
coverage.
And then they really had to change everything when they lost Rodgers, and that took away the 2 tight end package.
Right.
So a chunk of the offense was a miserable, miserable night. But let's go to the locker rooms. And in case you've forgotten what they were saying after that one, well, we'll bring it back for you. Let's go to the Lambeau locker rooms from Saturday night. Mike McCarthy, obviously downcast.
We didn't make the plays. It's disappointing. Minnesota's a very good team. To keep them to 16 points, man, I expected more. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought we'd play much better.
I figured they'd play a little bit better as well. The last home game.
I think everyone thought they would.
Yeah, I think so too. As for Minnesota's head coach Mike Zimmer, his division champs improved to 12-3.
Thought it was a good win tonight. It's always good to win division games on the road. I'm not sure we played our best game tonight. We left some things out there offensively, but Green Bay, for having some guys out, I thought they played well defensively. Good to be able to come in here and get a win.
They got the win and sweep the pack here in 2017. Let's hear from the quarterbacks. Brett Hundley could not produce points for the second time in 3 games at Lambeau. He finished with just 1 victory, 0 touchdown passes in 5 starts at home.
It's so frustrating just because of the fact that I know what I can do. I know, what my expectations of myself is. They're higher than anybody who, is watching TV at this moment, any coach, I'm putting in the work, I'm doing what I have to do, but, to go out there and not be consistent, which is my number one goal, and just give our team an opportunity to win each game, that hurts.
That hurts.
Maybe he should just lower the expectations, I guess, and you won't be as disappointed after the game.
Well, they're going out on the road where his passer rating's over 100.
Yeah, and that's what's been crazy. But a lot of that was that Pittsburgh game where there was blown coverages all over the field and guys wide open, tons of yards, touchdowns.
Well, yeah, and he also, he flashed plays even in the Tampa, even in.
So, why do you think at home has been so bad for him?
I don't know.
And he's been
Can't explain it.
better on the road.
Does he feel the ghost of 12?
I don't know.
Perhaps. I can't imagine that.
You wouldn't think so.
They just didn't perform very well at home. As for Minnesota's quarterback, third stringer, Case Keenum. He didn't do a whole lot, but then again, he didn't have to.
I can't talk enough about the defense and talk those guys up enough. They're really, really, really good, and they're playing really, really, really well. And it's very comforting to be the quarterback of the football team that they're doing what they're doing.
Do they have a weakness on that side of the ball? I don't think so.
I don't see it.
Very good up front, although I will give the Packers offensive line, losing Spriggs immediately, moving McCray over to right tackle, and inserting Lucas Patrick. They held their own.
You mentioned Keenum, the third string guy. What other franchise can lose the number 1, the number 2, your third stringer in a Case Keenum, and be 12-3 at this point?
Not many.
Not many.
I'll give him credit. He has played well.
Yeah, I mean, he's had flashes where he'll put up 3 touchdown games, throw for 300 yards, but he doesn't seem to make boneheaded mistakes.
That's the key.
And with a defense like that, all right.
I think he's up to 21 touches and 7 picks on the season. Solid.
He's more
right
than
around 100 on the passer rating.
More than a Trent Dilfer was as a game manager with the Ravens.
I think so.
But he's not a guy that's, I don't think, wowing it.
I don't think he's going to wow you either.
But he's efficient.
He got it done, that's for sure. And we talked about it. The Packer defense wasn't terrible. Matter of fact, Kenny Clark was pretty darn good with 2 more sacks.
I've just been playing off the guys that's around me, and I've been getting a lot of pressures. I've just been, just playing hard and keeping a good attitude about everything and trying to improve on everything that I do.
He has improved. And I think all 4 or 5 of his sacks this season have come in the last month. He's really coming on.
Yeah, he's taken
well all year.
Really nice step from first year to second year.
I agree. Without Matthews and Perry, even a player, as we mentioned on the practice squad last Friday, showed up on Saturday, and that was outside linebacker Reggie Gilbert.
I was just trying to go out there, and just do my job. That's part of our job description. Outside linebacker, try to get to that quarterback. So I was just trying to help the defense as much as I could. And
he helped a little bit. I'm anxious to see a little bit more of him, as a matter of fact. He showed more in one night than I've seen. Well, even though Kyler Fackrell got a sack,
Right.
on what was a bootleg, but it was a sack recorded nonetheless, than Kyler Fackrell has in a couple of years.
And sometimes these guys just need an opportunity, need to feel that energy, and they just go and sell out and try to make a name for
Yeah, I
themselves.
suppose. And Michael Clark was the other one we talked about. Targeted at game high 9 times, had 3 catches, couple of drops. But everybody had the drops. Kendricks, Nelson, bad day for drops as well. And Randall Cobb, I don't know if he had a drop, but he didn't make many big plays. It was just an awful all-around night, leaving Randall humbled.
We didn't put the ball in the end zone. I mean, it's as simple as that. We had opportunities. We missed on opportunities. Never felt more defeated, more embarrassed by the performance. Yeah, we had opportunities. We didn't connect when we did.
That says an awful lot to me. As the most embarrassed he ever was in a game at Lambeau Field. Well, he should be. It was ugly, folks. And finally, comment from linebacker Blake Martinez, who said, you know what? The entire 2017 season has really tested us.
Throughout anything you do in life that is difficult, you got to rally behind a good group of people and fight through it. And if you're not willing to fight through it, you're never going to improve.
They got one more chance to improve. Sunday noon, Ford Field, the Lions.
What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, I don't know. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Thankfully,
Feeling good about that one?
Yeah, thankfully, we're surrounded by good people. Thanks to you all for coming out here the day after Christmas. You got everything returned to the mall, and then you decided to come over here, which is kind of nice. I like that.
Is it possible to return the game from Sunday at the customer service counter?
No.
Can you do that today?
I wonder if anybody went into the ticket office and said, I'd like a refund, please.
Treat that like the ugly sweater you opened up
Yeah,
yesterday.
no kidding. No kidding. Great people here in the crowd. We are live in Wausau and in Sheboygan. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We're brought to you by our friends from Robinson's Heating and Cooling, Nicolay National Bank, American Metal Roofs, and Diamonds and Gold. And, of course, we're live in the Stadium View right here on Mikey Holmgren Way.
Yes, the Stadium View, 30-cent wings, 40-cent boneless from 7 to 11 every Monday through Thursday. Great happy hour specials, 3 to close every single Monday night, then Tuesday through Friday. Happy hours from 3 to 7. Singo every Wednesday from 6 to 9, and they have a big New Year's Eve party. Free midnight buffet to soak up all the booze. Free champagne to put on top of the free midnight buffet. Hats, party accessories, drink specials, and a lot more.
Ring in the new year right here at the View. And
I just told you the proper way to do New Year's Eve.
Yeah, there you go, right here. All right, when we come back, longtime writer, editor of the Packer Report, Bill Huber is going to join us. Talk about an ugly night and one more to go. Don't go away. Fifth quarter returns right after this timeout.
We now return you to the fifth quarter, live from the Stadium View Bar and Grill. Here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Good to have you with us here on this day after Xmas, heading to the regular season finale against the Detroit Lions, who got eliminated on Sunday by the Cincinnati Bengals of all teams.
Which prompted a text message from my youngest brother,
yes,
who is a huge Lions fan. He posed the question of the day, WTF, why does Jim Caldwell still have a job?
We'll find out probably a week from today. Why he
I
does
don't
or
think
does
he's
not.
going to be around.
I know. We'll find out. But anyway, Packers and Lions to wrap it up in Detroit. Pleasure to have this guy on board. I work with him every day, all year round, whether it's the draft, whether it's the combines, whether it's the mini camps, regular season. Longtime editor and grand poobah of the Packer Report. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Huber joining us here on the Stadium View tonight. Hello, William.
How you doing?
Thanks for coming over. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around since I'm not Josh Hawkins.
Yeah, well, you could have covered Stephon Diggs. No, that was a long run in the back of the end zone.
Plenty of fans are still trying to figure out, is that Josh Hawkins?
Yeah, it could be. But
Similarities?
but you didn't have any PIs. He had 2. One was declined, the other accepted.
Even I know you got to look back for the ball.
Yes, that's true.
You can't just cover someone like this, which you can't hear on radio, but
I
like
know,
this here.
I know. He looked back for me on the way out of the locker room and said he wasn't able. But anyway, thanks for pinch hitting. I appreciate it. What do you make of this team? 7-8 with 1 to go. It's been a mess since October 15th.
I don't think they're awful. I know it's an unpopular opinion because there's so many fans, and there's so many fans out there who don't know anything besides winning.
True.
And it's all doom and gloom. I don't think they're terrible. Look, they lost to Carolina as bad as they played at Carolina. They were terrible, right?
Yes.
They almost won the game. Almost had a chance to at least force overtime against a team that's now 11-4. So if you are that awful, and I'm not trying to be Mr. Sunshine here, but if you are that awful against a really good team and you still have a chance to win the game, I don't think they're just god-awful. I don't think that.
They took a 12-3 Steeler team to the gun.
Right, exactly.
In Pittsburgh.
Obviously, you get the quarterback back. you get some impact players in this draft, like some ASAP players, you're right back in the Super Bowl mix. I think so.
I get this.
A lot of fans will say, when are we going to have the impact players in the draft?
Well, that's a great question, and you can look up now in these last several drafts.
Yeah,
where are the players? Maybe Kenny Clark's going to be that guy. But
Ha Clinton Dix impact?
He's gone on retreat, but again, is that him covering up for other deficiencies by playing, 6 miles off the line of scrimmage?
Yeah,
is that his fault? I don't know.
And they've almost had to do that by design. But then again, I wonder about all of that stuff that Dom's done. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, Bill, about he has so many complicated personnel groupings, whether it's the nickel, the dime, the nitro. He's got the star position. He's got this and that. That with so many young players, they cannot comprehend that. And it has led to big mental errors, 12 men on the field, 2 of them on Saturday night. There was a time there I thought Dom probably should have just simplified things, go with what they can, and live with it.
Yeah, maybe, but they've always been a defense that's always started off kind of eh.
Yeah.
And they've always gotten better. Like all the stuff you said is probably true, but by the end of the year, they've always had it figured out. 2014 they were obviously really good going in the Seattle game,
right?
But this year they've just gone in retreat where, obviously the Case Keenum broke the streak last week, but every game from the bye, the 7 games since the bye, the opposing quarterback beat his season-long pass rating against the Packers. I mean,
really,
it's terrible. I mean, it's a quarterback-driven league. You've got to stop the other quarterback.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Just got awful at it.
And when they were at their best, they take it away, and those have dried up. Outside of Demarius Randall,
yeah,
and he's got 4 picks.
I asked Dom that last week. I go, Dom, what's gone wrong? I go, you used to be able to stop teams passing, you used to force turnovers, you used to sack the quarterback, and you're not doing any of those things now. And of course, he had no answer, which makes I just wonder if it's personnel and not Dom. But I just say just blow the whole thing up, probably.
Yeah,
is Dom Capers gone at the end of the year? Do you think?
I think so, but.
From the back row, we get
but one guy.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot more than that.
There's a lot more fans that feel he should be gone.
With that said, where are our game changers? Who rushes the quarterback?
Right.
He doesn't have a pass rusher. Kevin King, you were hoping he might be their lockdown corner. He's not. So where are the guys where he can just, X's and O's are great. But if my X isn't physically capable of beating that, what difference does it make?
Yeah, that's true.
So I wonder, I'm not giving him a free pass. I just wonder how much of it, what's he going to do?
So does
does
that fall then on Thompson for just bringing in the wrong guys for these schemes?
I would say so.
Well,
I mean, look, where are the impact players from these? I mean, you got the media guy right
I've got
there.
the draft. I've got the draft. Yeah, okay. Since he's really dialed it up on defense, we'll go back to 2012. He's drafted 2 Pro Bowl defensive backs. Oh, but Casey Hayward's with the Chargers. Oh, Micah Hyde's with the Bills.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
That's not good. Nick Perry, 2012. Jarrell Worthy.
Could have had Harrison Smith 1 pick earlier.
Yeah, that's true. Jarrell Worthy. Ouch. All right, Mike Daniels, I'll give him that.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. But that was that whole defense was draft 2012. Jerron McMillan, Terrell Manning. Holy cow! Forget about that. Dayton Jones, 2013.
Bust. Nothing.
Boom. All right. And then they went offense. Got Micah Hyde, Josh Boyd, 5th rounder. But you're not going to expect much. Ha Clinton Dix. And then Devontae Adams in 2014. Richard Rodgers. Well, Kyrie Thornton was a 3rd rounder.
Yeah. Another bust.
He's still in the league though, isn't he? I think so. Isn't he with Detroit?
Last I knew he was.
Yeah.
I saw him there last year in the locker room.
And then Demarius Randall, Quentin Rollins, Jake Ryan coming out in 2015. Rollins is not going to be back, I don't think. Randall,
maybe.
All right, maybe. And Ryan, still on the undersized, but feisty. Then we got Kenny Clark, Connor Fackrell, Blake Martinez, Dean Lowry. Got a chance out of the 16
right, that
guys.
might be a pretty good draft.
Not bad there. Fackrell, who knows? And then, of course, this year, Kevin King, Josh Jones, Montravius Adams, Vince Spiegel were your top 4.
No, you got nothing.
And we got really nothing. Jones played the most snaps out of all of those guys, but he has made a lot of rookie mistakes.
He has, and he's the guy we're talking about where you play this has always been Dom's thing. You play the young guys early, and they fight their way through things, and then you start trending upward, and Josh Jones is not trending upward. Maybe he'll be a great player in time, but it does not happen this year.
So the point you were making, impact players. Who are the impact players? Well, Matthews was an impact player his first 4 years in the league. Pro Bowl all 4 years. He has not been an impact player.
Nope.
Still makes disruptive plays now and again, But I don't think he is the guy offensive coordinators game plan for saying, Matthews, wow, we better double him, we better chip him, we better account for him every snap. I don't think they have to anymore.
No.
He's not beating left tackles or right tackles consistently.
Right. No, and Nick Perry is when he's healthy, he's a pretty good player. But I mean, seriously, if you're an offensive coordinator, are you losing sleep over a single person on that defense?
No.
That's a problem. So
Yeah.
I mean, is it the coaching? Is it the players? You know what? Who here is smart enough to know the answer to that? I mean, I'm not. I think it's the players, but maybe you get a new coaching staff. Maybe all these guys are great. I don't know. I mean, I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
No, I'm not either. Tell you the truth. But I would lean towards the talent. I just think they've
Yeah.
got to find some type of impact players getting to the quarterback first and foremost. I think out of that collection of DBs, they've got enough to kind of survive. Devon House stays healthy. Kevin King comes back. I think Jones still he's too athletic to ignore. Maybe Dimitri Goodson is still young enough. When he comes back next year, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think it's up front and on the edge where you've really got to get the impact.
So if Capers goes, what other coaches go? I mean, do you see a handful of guys kind of cleaned out
Perry,
here? Or
Well, I suppose if you're hiring a coordinator, he's probably going to want to say it in things, right?
Right.
I mean, especially, just to throw out a random name, I've heard Vic Fangio's name. He's a veteran guy. He's been around the block. Is Vic going to want to come in here? Again, I have no idea if he's interested in what's going to happen. But is he going to want to come here and say, you get to pick this, and this guy, but you're stuck with this, and this guy? I mean, would he do that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he would.
Probably not. Usually they don't. Coordinators will want their own guys who have worked with his system in the past. Then again, there's going to be, I've heard 6, 7, 8 NFL head coaches that are going to be out of jobs come Monday next week. All of those staffs are going to be freed up. There are going to be guys available. Or do you promote Winston Moss? Or you do promote Joe Witt?
Yeah,
and build with that.
Yeah, I just think I'm just starting over again. I'm getting rid of half the players as much as you can, and you start with the whole coaching staff. And
well, that's what he did the last time this thing went south. And just his second or third year, 2008, fired Bob Sanders and the whole crew there, and then brought in Dom and pretty much this staff.
Yeah, I want to do one more personnel thing here. In this draft, when you needed pass rushers, everybody knew that you lose Peppers, you lose Daytone. Fackel hadn't done anything. You need pass rushers. So why did he draft 3 running backs and 2 wide receivers, and not get your pass rusher to the 4th round? It just boggles my mind and how he thought the pass rush is bad. You draft Vince Biegel in the 4th round, and that is all you've done. It makes no sense.
All right, I know, but I knew Ty Montgomery was not going to be an every down back.
Right.
Okay, I knew that. And what was my prediction in August? Who was going to be the leading rusher on this team? Your leading rusher on this team, Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams.
I 3 of them. Let's see which one sticks. I think they found 2 of them.
Yeah.
I think they have 2 backs of the future there.
But 2 wide receivers on a team that was pretty loaded with pretty good play. I mean,
that's another one. Yeah, that's
to me. I'm just going to fire off on pass rush. I'm just getting, like Wolf did at corner that one year. You got a whole bunch of them.
1999, where they were sick of Randy Moss after a year, and they went out and did the
Antoine Edwards,
and the guy they sent to Seattle for
Fred Vincent.
Amon Grimm, Fred Vincent. So we'll see if that is how it works out.
Wide receivers you mentioned. What do you see for Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb going forward?
And that is a great question. I have no idea. I mean, what do you do there? Rodgers loves the guys.
Right.
Rodgers, before the Carolina game, he made it plain as day that he's going to get Jordy Nelson involved because he thinks Jordy Nelson's a good player. So I guess you got to take the quarterback's word at Nelson's a good player, but man, honestly, I'm sorry to say I'm not seeing it.
Now let's play Russ Ball here, who is the of course vice president in charge of the cap for this Packer team. You've got cap hits galore with those 3 guys next year, and Adams is due. He has got it. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent in the spring. I think he's earned. I saw a target figure of around $13 million a year for Devontae Adams. Des Bryant signed for $14 million a year. Cobb's $10 million, $12 million. Nelson's $10 million. That's way too much to be invested in a wide receiver group, if you ask me.
Absolutely is.
One of them's going to have to go.
It's going to be a really painful decision.
I think so.
There's going to be hurt feelings, but you can't invest $35 million of cap space into one position group. And frankly, these aren't world beaters. I mean, Devontae Adams might be, but I mean, Nelson and Cobb, are they winning games for you? I mean, they're not. This isn't an all-pro team of receivers.
Jordy, 3 for 11. Those have been his numbers since Aaron went down.
God, his long gain since Aaron went down is like 17 yards. I mean, he used to get
with 6 broken tackles probably.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Is that him not getting open anymore? He's lost a step. The injury's taken a toll, or is it because Hundley can't push the ball outside the numbers down the field?
I mean, it's all that, right, Mark?
I think it's all of that. I think they scaled back the passing game. They took some shots certainly against Minnesota, but did he hit on a shot? No, not even close.
No, it's just that otherworldly ESP connection with Rodgers and Nelson that you can't coach, and you put them together, they'd probably be really good again. But I mean, again,
he had one great back shoulder chance to Clark in the end zone on that 1 4th down play, but it just didn't connect. It wasn't way off, but it was there. But again, won a game when we're seeing it 3-4 times a quarter with Rodgers and the other guys, and that gets us back to the whole thing. Does one great player make that much of a difference? And I think we have come to the conclusion this year that, yes, it does. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I know those receivers always bristled at the fact that Aaron. But at the end of the day, you know what? It's Aaron.
It is.
Right? I mean, Devontae Adams proved he's a terrific player, but 12's pretty good.
12's pretty good. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more dissection on this Packer team. Hey, sign up for some stuff. We got the box over on the bar in the back. We got some great door prizes we're going to give away at the end of the show, including a gift card to the Packer Pro Shop from our friends at Robinson's. Don't go away. More of the fifth quarter with Bill Huber returns right after this.
Here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Yeah. Notice we're not spending a lot of time on that game on Saturday night. Packers shut out for the second time at home this season. Last time that happened was McCarthy's first year in 2006 when they got beat by the Bears on opening day and 20-0 and Patriots 35-0. And I was looking back. The last time the Packers were shut out 3 times in a season.
Oh, God.
1988. Lindy Infante. 3 shutouts in 5 games. It really went south towards the tail end of that season, but they were all on the road. Let's see, 2 shutouts in a season. Way before that, 1970. I was at that one. Lions opening day, 40-0. Greg Landry, a quarterback sneak for about 78 yards in that game. Unbelievable. And then they lost to the Lions in the finale, 20-0. So last time they got shut out 3 times in a year was 88. Phew. How long you been on the beat?
Well, full time since 2008. So
right.
I dealt with their first year of Rodgers and the whole Favre nonsense.
Oh, you came right at the
I got
big
thrown to the wolves.
Wasn't that one of the greatest weeks of all time? That was just so surreal. He rides in the plane, waves to the crowd, comes to the stadium. I still want to find out. Someday I'm going to find out what was said in that meeting, at Lambeau with McCarthy, Thompson, and Favre when he tried to come back.
That'd be fast. You could write a book on that one.
Well, I'm working on it. Still working on it, but I don't think I've gotten quite there. But anyway, so it's been a while. And you're right. There's a generation of fans that have known nothing but playoffs, winning records, late first-round draft
Have
choices.
you ever seen the fans this mad?
No. Clamoring for change, clamoring for gutting the whole thing. McCarthy's time is up. Thompson's time is up. I might lean more towards Thompson's time is up than Will McCarthy's, but they both are under contract through next year.
Right.
Thompson to the draft of 19.
Right.
Here's my scenario. How about make Ted a consultant and then promote, I don't know, Elliott Wolf, perhaps, or go out and find somebody to come in and take over the reins. I just think a new set of eyes, maybe. We just talked about some of these drafting decisions.
Yeah, they're terrible. You're right.
And, all right, he dove in headlong free agency this year.
Thompson pulls the plug in the draft, but you mentioned the eyes. Elliott Wolf's got eyes.
I understand, It's
guys.
not a unilateral decision on draft day. It's a collective effort.
Sure, but at the end of the day, someone's got to say, because this scout's voting for this guy, this scout's clamoring for this guy. I'm sure Mike's got to, at the end of the day, someone's got to pick, choose the name out of the hat. So, the free agent thing is weird from last year. Where they never, ever, I'll exaggerate, but they never, ever, ever sign free agents and they go and get 6 this year. That made me wonder if there's
somebody's prodding.
If there's someone's prodding or if there's a bit of a front office change as there was. It was weird that they never signed free agents and they got 6. How did they go from 0 to 6? Is there someone with a little bit more of a voice than years past, prodded by Murphy? I don't know.
How many did they lose? 7?
Well, sure, but he usually lose 7 and come back with 0. So.
Yeah, I know. That's true. But he had to get a guard. And Evans, I think, certainly,
fine.
he's been fine. House, if he could have stayed healthy.
I think House is a good player. They got to sign. Again, I said this on Twitter, and people kept going after me. But he's a good player. He's a leader. I mean, he held Mike Evans at 2 catches. He held Thielen to 1 out here on Saturday night. He's a good player. I'm not saying he's your number 1 guy. I'm not saying he's 4 years and $40 million. But, man, he's a veteran player and a leader. I would get him
everybody
back.
got all wild when they let Jared Cook go on a really what I thought was a bungled negotiation on both sides. But then they come back with Martellus Bennett, Kendricks, and you got Richard Rodgers, and now we're down to the cold-handed Kendricks on Saturday night. That's it. It had to be an extreme disappointment that position, which is coveted by Mike McCarthy, because he says the game in the NFL now is down the middle of the field. You got to win those in that area, and they can't do it.
He was one of the best tight ends in football, Bennett was. I mean, you come out of that, as much as Cook made some impact plays, I mean, who among the fans thought, oh, Bennett instead of Cook? I mean, this is a guy, they haven't had a tight end who could block since Bubba Franks, right? So you got a terrific blocker.
He wasn't a road grader by any stretch.
In all the training camp, it's throw it to Bennett, throw it to Bennett, throw it to Bennett.
And we were watching. Our eyes were wide open, going, "Wow, this could be really interesting."
Yeah, and it goes poof.
That's because it's your guy. His head and his heart was never in it.
Yeah, no, Bennett.
Nor was his shoulder, for that matter.
Absolutely not. Paycheck, why not? Listen, Packers bought into it. The guy said after a Super Bowl win, this is when free agents get paid. I'm going to get paid. It wasn't I want to go win another Super Bowl. He was all about the money and another paycheck.
And did he check out when Aaron went down?
It sure seems to me. I mean, there's a guy who
he absolutely did.
I mean, he came and won a Super Bowl. I mean, he can get paid anywhere. So let's A, I'm close to home. B, I can win a Super Bowl. C, I get paid. But then the quarterback goes down. Well, shoot, there goes my Super Bowl.
Right.
Oh, it's like Ronnie Danger from Caddyshack.
Yeah. Oh.
My arm.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Oh gosh. All right. So we got some issues with this team as the Packers get ready to take on the Detroit Lions on Sunday at Ford Field. We'll take a look at that game a little bit closer, and we'll talk about some other odds and ends around the NFL with a week to go. Don't go away. The fifth quarter with Bill Huber returns right after this.
Live from the Stadium View Bar and Grill, here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Bill Huber, our guest tonight from the Packer Report. A couple of roster moves by the Packers today. Jason Spriggs to injured reserve. All of one snap on Saturday night. Nasty injury there. He'll have surgery. They brought tight end Emmanuel Byrd off the practice squad into the active roster. Don't know the status of Richard Rodgers in the shoulder yet. He, along with Jordy, were still being examined. But they got to have more than one tight end. And wide receiver Jake Kumerow has been signed by the Packers to their practice squad, a UW Whitewater Warhawk.
Awesome. Warhawks.
That's right. It's your alma mater.
Alma mater.
Well done.
I sat on the bench for several years there.
All right. Watching Kumerow play, yeah.
He's got relatives from the Kumerow from the Dolphins.
Right.
He's related to the Bosas.
Is he?
Yeah, some good DNA.
Well, there you go. I like that. He was with the Bengals on their practice squad a couple of years, active for one game. Went on IR this August, cut in September. Was with the Patriots practice squad for about a month, actually a couple of weeks, and now with the Packers on the practice squad. So there you go, Jake Kumerow on board. Schedule for next year. Packers are locked into third place no matter what they do on third in the division. Ouch. That's just unbelievable, isn't it? Wow, third. But, hey, take heart, fans. The Chicago Bears have resided in the basement of the Black and Blue since 2013. Every single week.
Consistency, Mark.
They've
it's all
been
about consistency.
in last place. Every week.
Every week?
Yes. It's hard
That's
to
fantastic.
believe. So, Packers locked into third place aside from their division games. Coming to Lambeau next year, Arizona. That's a win. Atlanta. Yeah, that might be a win. Buffalo. Micah Hyde returning. Should be interesting. Miami. With Jay Cutler being Jay, that's a win. And the 49ers, although I'm not so sure now with Jimmy Garoppolo going absolutely crazy for the 49ers. And on the road, they're going
Brutal
to
schedule on the road.
To Washington, least favorite stadium in the league. That is a dump, FedEx. Unbelievable. The Rams, off to Los Angeles they go to take on the most surprising team, I think, in the league this year. The Patriots in Foxborough. The Jets in the Meadowlands. And Seattle. That's a tough road trip.
5th consecutive year for Seattle. Against them, not after, obviously.
I think they're on the way. I think they're on the decline, a slight decline. Although they
Yeah.
played well enough in Dallas, but Dallas is a mess, especially at home. I can't figure out.
It's the whole salary cap thing. They spent so much money to keep their defense together, where they couldn't afford an offensive line. So
Yeah.
now they have no O-line. Now the defense is getting banged up. And that's what makes what the Packers have done so remarkable is they've stayed on top.
Yeah,
They've avoided the salary cap to some extent. In Seattle, like you said, Seattle's on the way up because the cap's caught up to them.
I think the most extreme lessons were the 49ers at the end of their dynasty, and then the Cowboys at the end of their dynasty in the 90s when they loaded up the cap for the Aikmans, the Irvins, the Smiths, the Novaceks, and a couple of other guys. They had 70% of their cap on 5 players, and when they got old, they had nothing, and they had to rebuild it complete. Packers have not had to go through that.
Yep.
Even with mega dollar stars like Favre, Rodgers, et al., that they've stayed consistent. You're right.
Yeah, it's it's been some tough decisions where you mentioned Hyde and Hayward earlier, and they lose big name. TJ obviously they lose big name guys every year, but they've managed to piece it together thanks to the quarterback in large extent. But
then again, I think there's something to the coaching staff as well. James Campen has done a marvelous job this year. What is it? He started 9 different offensive lines, 10 maybe in the 15 games.
Here, Justin McCray was a guy who's in the NFL for 3 years, but never actually made a team, and now he makes the team.
And he started 3 positions for this team.
And he's a dang good football player. Yeah, the coach gets some credit there for sure.
I agree.
So, Bill, who's been your favorite player that you've covered over the years and why?
Woodson.
Yeah.
Markel Tess. I mean, he was just. I mean, if not the quarterback, he was the smartest guy in the locker room. There was never a cliche. Well, maybe not never, but there's almost never a cliche. He would listen to your question, and he would answer it, and it'd be answered with honesty
and thoughtfulness.
Thoughtfulness.
He was, he is one of the consummate professionals in this sport of professional football. That's what struck me. The way he went about his business, from practice to dealing with us. Very few like that. Tremont Williams was in that class.
Tremont always had
one of
time
our
for-
favorite
always
guys.
had
No
time for you.
question about that. And then there's the opposites.
Least favorite, yeah. Who's the least favorite, and why?
We still got to see these guys tomorrow. So
It's a good point.
Be careful. All right.
I don't know if he was least favorite, but Gerald Worthy, when he said that he had just had a bone bruise or whatever it was and ended up having a torn ACL. I mean, come on. We're all going to find out.
Yeah.
What are you lying about your injury for? And then in terms, of course, the guy ends up being a horrible football player on top of that. And if you could buy him for what he was worth and some for what he thought he was worth,
in today's sports world, especially in the NFL, you mentioned the cliched answers. You always get that from the coaches. You get it from the players. How tough does that make your job to come up with probing questions when you know the answer you're already going to be getting?
Yeah, it's tough. And sometimes I preface the question, say, "Hey, I know this is a dumb question, but can you just hope for the best." But that we've gotten to have fewer and fewer really good quotes in the locker room.
That's true, because they are so well coached now by the public relations staff on the topics that are going to be asked of them, especially after a bad game or something else that's been going on, or those types of things. Plus, they've been brought up in the media-savvy world, completely different from when I started, when these guys, many of them, very first interviews they ever gave, through college were in professional football. These guys just were raised and they came up through the ranks so differently.
But a lot of these guys will show their personality social media-wise. You'll get a lot of it on Twitter, but you don't have it in person with a reporter.
Yeah, a lot of times when the TV cameras go away and it's just the writers in you, Mark, I think the answers tend to get better when the cameras are away. So a lot of times you kind of
you know what? All right, I agree with you, but here's the other point: the questions are better. Let's face it.
Oh, with no cameras?
Oh my God.
Well, of course.
Not all, but
yeah,
a good majority of these TV guys don't know what they're even. They're asking them about, are you going to wear sleeves on Sunday? You ever play in cold before? What do you want for Christmas? Who's your favorite actor? What's your favorite movie? What do you think about, the wildfires in California? Right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, there are stars.
Rather than what happened on that read where you threw here and this was over there, and we're trying to figure out why this team is winning or losing football games.
But how many
And the rest of
times-
the media is asking them what their favorite movie is.
Well, let me ask this: how many times when you ask about certain reads or coverages do you get straight up honest answers?
When the cameras aren't there.
When the
More
cameras
often than
aren't
not.
there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's better, you know. And look, if there's a camera on me, I probably wouldn't be worth a you-know-what either on an
Smile. You're on candid camera.
interview. So, but, you know, they just seem, it's probably humane. You know, it's just some guys with a recorder, and you start shooting the you-know-what, and the answers tend to get better. And sometimes you get answers where they feel good about you. You know what? You're not going to go hang them out to dry, but they make you smarter as the reporter that, okay, I kind of know what happens here. I'm not going to burn you by saying this is what happened and you know, kicking someone in the butt on it. You know,
And it happens still sometimes where the guys will see a quote that is attributed to them that they feel was taken either out of context, misquoted, and then there starts to be some friction. But you can diffuse that by talking to these guys without the recorder on, without the pen in your hand. And I think that's as valuable as a one-on-one interview.
Yeah, just talking as people. You know, they are people, and I think, you know, a lot of fans I think kind of forget that, you know, because of the money and it's, you know, you're entertainers, but you know, they are people. They all have lives. They all have, a lot of them have families, and you just kind of get to know them a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's valuable.
Have you run into players where maybe you've written something negative where there was a little bit of a confrontation, a little bit of blowback towards you?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think the guys know me pretty well, that I try to be fair about it.
Sure.
You know?
The last good one I had was with Antonio Freeman.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, he was involved in that accident over at East Supper Club with Charles Jordan and the woman in the car. Okay, and they swapped positions, and he tried to avoid trouble. And about 2 weeks later, he was involved in another traffic incident that I got wind of, and it was a collective session at his locker. And I asked him about it, and because I knew about it, no one else did, and he gave a really snappy response. And was unhappy that I had known about it. And the next day, he came from his locker, which is over by that flat screen, running at me, full volume, screaming my name, and said, his point was, ask me that one-on-one. Don't ask me that in a group session. Okay? He was really upset. But that, and I said, well, that's fair. I said, I'll give you that, but that's about as angry as a player's gotten at me in a while. But that was a good one.
What was your reaction when he came charging at you?
I thought I'm a dead man.
Right? Hey, here comes a professional athlete.
Yeah, but Buttons and I have made amends. We're
nice.
Yeah, we're all good now. So anyway, all right, we got to take a break. When we come back, what are we going to expect in Sunday's finale? I mean,
great football, Mark.
I think it could be awesome. All right, if you can name 15 of the 22 starters, we'll give you a prize. We'll come back and wrap it up right after this timeout. All right, welcome back, everybody. Just a couple of minutes left to go. Bill Huber of Packer Report, our guest tonight. All right, who's your favorite in the NFC? Eagles, they got Nick Foles, but they have home field. The Vikings would have to go on the road if they win the first one with a bye.
Saints, maybe?
I like the Saints.
You know, I understand why Rodgers came back not healed, because if you look at that, because, you know, Wentz goes down. Who knows about the Eagles? The Vikings, I mean, they didn't look like world beaters here.
I think they're very stoppable.
The Rams are so young. I mean, they don't have anybody who's ever played in a playoff game.
Yeah, the lights are going to get pretty bright for them.
You know, the Saints, I'm not a big Breeze fan. He doesn't throw the ball 5 yards anymore, but
you know, over 70,000 for his career
I mean,
on the weekend.
But I guess maybe the Saints.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, but they won't be afraid to play inside, that's for sure. It's going to be kind of fun, unfortunately, without the Pack. All right, we got the Lions coming up. Jim Caldwell, maybe his last game. They collapsed again, lost 3 out of their last 5, sit at 8-7 with 1 week to go. Matthew Stafford, the richest man in the NFL, I don't think has quite lived up to snuff this year. He's been beat up a little bit too.
Is he the problem, you think? I mean, I know he's a great quarterback, but as far as, I don't know, they just never seem to they never get anywhere. They're spinning wheels on ice, you know?
No running game.
No running game,
Their defense is still fallible, even though Slay and Quinn are really nice back there. I just, there's something to miss over there.
There is something to miss,
Detroit.
yeah, I don't know what it is.
Detroit, I think. We'll see what happens. Ford Field, noon kickoff, New Year's Eve. You're making the ride over there. You got family over there. You're going to make a week of it, huh?
I love, you know, when the Packers play, I'm the only person to beat who loves Packers-Lions on Thanksgiving.
I did too. I like it.
And then my wife's sister and family live by Detroit, so I'm actually leaving Wednesday night.
Oh, wow.
And I actually will spend Friday with the Lions at their facility.
Okay. Allen Park, I think it is.
Yes, it's a nice place in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, well, that's where the Lions are these days, too. Bill, it was a pleasure having you on board. I really appreciate you coming in and pinch hitting. Guest of the fifth quarter, receive a gift certificate from our friends at Diamonds and Gold, one of the fine jewelers in the area. You'll find them over on Central Drive in Alloway. All right, Bill, appreciate it. Big round of applause for Bill Huber.
Thanks, Bill.
Read him on the Packer Report, and website is
PackerReport.com. Really creative.
Timely is that.
That's
all right. When the Pack's away, you get to play. We send somebody to the Packers Pro Shop from our friends at Robinson's Heating and Cooling. And who's going shopping after all the shopping?
Clara Neville.
Clara Neville. Congratulations. Don't go away. We got some more great door prizes to give away when we are off the air. Our season finale, unfortunately, 1 week from tonight, will be on January 2, right here, a week from tonight.
So what player are we going to have to do the season finale?
I think Aaron Rodgers is coming over.
I think so, right?
Yeah. If not Rodgers, Matthews, maybe. Clay, you think he's doing anything?
Why not at that point?
We can shoot a commercial here while they're at it.
Yeah, why don't we bring them both? Double team them.
Bring them both.
All right.
Plenty of room here at the stadium.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, come out for the season finale. It's going to be a lot of
we'll
fun.
have a
Hopefully,
lot of fun.
You'll feel a lot better about the year if you get a win against Detroit, finish 500. At least, you don't go licking your wounds totally into the offseason.
8-8 was just great with Bart and Forrest and everyone else back in the 80s. Fans, remember that? Well, it could be again. Let's hope so. See if they get a win against the Lions on Sunday. Again, for Bill Huber, Matt C., I'm Mark Daniels. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We'll see you next week for the season finale of the fifth quarter right here in the Stadium View. So long, everybody.